Have you ever been in a room full of people and yet felt completely alone? You look around, smiles, laughter, chatter, and still you feel stuck, frozen. Not because you don't want to connect, but because you don't know how. The words just won't come. The silence between you and the other person grows heavier with every second, and you wonder, why does this always happen to me? This isn't just a story about awkward silences or social anxiety. This is a journey about reclaiming your voice, rediscovering your power, and learning the life-changing art of connection. Because the truth is, you don't have to be born charismatic. You don't have to be the loudest in the room. You just have to be willing to learn. And once you do, you'll never run out of things to say again. We all start in the same place. Picture it. You meet someone new. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's at a wedding. Maybe it's that stranger at the bar. You exchange hellos, ask the usual questions. What do you do? Or where are you from? And then before you know it, silence. Uncomfortable. Awkward. Deafening. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. That silence, it isn't your fault. It isn't because you're boring or shy or bad at socializing. It's because somewhere along the way, no one taught us how to actually talk to people. Not just speak, but connect. Like any art form, from playing the piano to writing poetry, conversation is a skill, and skills can be learned. Let's go back. There was a time when I believed I was simply bad at talking to people. At parties, I stood on the sidelines. In meetings, I avoided eye contact. And when I did speak, it felt forced, awkward. I told myself I was an introvert, that I wasn't confident enough, that I was socially inept. But then I started noticing something strange. Around my closest friends, the people I trusted, I came alive. I laughed. I shared stories. I didn't hold back. It was effortless. So I asked myself, how could one person feel like two completely different people? The answer changed everything. It wasn't about confidence. It wasn't about personality. It was about skill. I just hadn't learned how to talk to strangers the same way I talked to people I cared about. So I decided to change that. What if I told you there are only 3 things you need to do to speak to anyone, fluently, confidently, authentically, and never run out of things to say? Just 3 things. Let's start with the first. Ask intentional questions. Imagine this. Someone tells you, I went golfing over the weekend. Now you have 2 choices. You can say, oh, that's nice, and let the conversation die. Or you can ask, where do you usually play? Or how long have you been playing? Even if you don't care about golf, that one question keeps the conversation alive. And more than that, it makes the other person feel seen. Because what people really want isn't someone who impresses them. It's someone who listens. Intentional questions aren't just fillers. They're invitations. They're the path to depth. They shift the dynamic from small talk to meaningful exchange. And here's the best part, you're the one guiding the flow. Because every conversation is really just a dance of questions and answers. And the person asking the questions, that's the person leading the dance. But asking isn't enough. You have to listen, really listen. Which brings us to the second principle, active listening. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. They're in their own heads crafting a reply, waiting for their turn. Don't be that person. When you truly listen, you open the door to empathy. You notice what's not being said. You hear the hesitation, the excitement, the sadness behind the words. And that's where connection happens. Because when someone feels heard, they feel valued. And when they feel valued, they open up. So don't just nod. Don't just wait for your moment to speak. Stop. Listen. Respond to what was actually said. The awkward moments, they fade. The silences, they soften. Because now you're in sync. Finally, find common ground. Think of the people you click with instantly. The ones you talk to for hours without even trying. Why does it feel so easy? Because you found something, an experience, a belief, a passion that connects you. Sometimes that common ground is obvious. You both love the same sport. You grew up in the same town. But sometimes it takes digging. Ask, explore, be curious. And when you find that one thing, the conversation will take on a life of its own. Now, let's be honest. There will still be times when it doesn't work, when the conversation falls flat, when silence returns. That's okay. You don't have to fear it. You don't have to fill every moment. Sometimes silence is just space. And that space isn't empty, it's opportunity. Because the more comfortable you become with silence, the less power it has over you. So here's the truth. You can learn this. You can be the person who lights up a room, the one who makes people feel understood, the one who never runs out of things to say, not because you're endlessly clever, but because you care enough to ask, to listen, to connect. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unlocking the best version of you, the one who's always been there, just waiting for a voice. And when you find that voice, when you choose to use it, you'll realize something powerful. You were never bad at talking to people. You just hadn't started speaking your truth. So the next time you're in a conversation and the silence creeps in, don't run from it. Breathe. Remember your tools. Ask with intention. Listen with your heart. And search for that spark, that common thread. Because that's how real conversations begin. And that's how connections are made. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the funniest. You just have to be present. And if you just have to be present, and if you choose to show up, to care, to be curious, then you will never run out of things to say. Not today, not ever.